Um, 1967, I think.
Sweet.
Right, we're on attempt number 3 for the stream.
All right.
Ooh,
Okay, calm down.
I'm so calm. I'm really, really calm. You don't know how calm I am, but it's like
You don't know me.
that much.
That sounds like someone who's currently wine drunk, Alec. Yeah, I'm calm. I'm calm.
Well,
I'm calm.
that shows you know.
Red and Stella? Jesus.
Buckle up, buckaroo. Anyway,
So,
Pat said the cleanup for his enormous shit is going to be 10 minutes. So do we want to leave it for 10 minutes?
Why does he do this every week?
I don't know. I think he just times it to wind me up.
Time for film club. Better
Sort of like,
have
sort of like when Ben will go, an hour and a half left. I better put on a 2-hour film. He just does it to annoy me. Oh, hi Ben.
He's talking shit about me.
so
Fun fact: Bialystok is actually a place in Poland. I saw it come up on Instagram. One of our Polish friends was going down like this little railway track, and it was like, "Welcome to Bialystok. Please drive carefully." But in like Polish, so it was like, I was like, Polish now. It's alright. I can make fun of Polish people because they don't matter. Whoa! Whoa!
Controversial.
Bloody hell, Ben. This was your first pick since Parasite.
It's not that controversial.
Yes. When was that? In like June or something?
Yeah, it seems like ages ago.
I mean, there's like 8 of us now, so like it would be in turn a very longer time.
Give me 7.
True, actually. Oh, no, I love how you said that as if you weren't the 8th.
Well, no, I know.
Simon's been here the whole time. He definitely wasn't member number 8.
But it's like I want to do a couple because my mind is setting up for a few good films and a bad film. I've only done one of my really bad films. I'm still waiting to
Which one
do
was
that, go through that process. Huh?
Which one was that?
The one that Dan loves currently.
Snowpiercer.
But I have my list for my bad films. It's just staring at me in the face. I'm like, why don't you pick us? I'm like, no, I got to balance it out. I got to do some decently good films. And I'm glad currently for this next round, I am right at the end because that's the day. I think it's the day before Halloween, so I can plan accordingly. Actually,
I think Pat's got Halloween, so I think you'd be the week after.
I thought
So
Ben.
No, Ben's got the week before.
Okay, so we've got depending on what you guys pick, I can pick appropriately if my one wants to be Halloween-esque or not. Seeing how like you guys will choose your picks, I have 3 ideas for films already set up in my mind.
I like the idea of having like a pre-Halloween and then a Halloween and then a Halloween hangover.
Yes. So I got a good idea to what to choose, but we'll see what you guys choose first. You guys might actually choose one of my films. We'll see how it goes. Though.
Well, I know so far next round we've got 2 sci-fis and 2 horrors.
Nice. Okay. Maybe I should just message you what my 3 picks could be.
There you go.
See if you get surprised.
Yeah, do it, man.
Okay. Okay, so because we're waiting for Pat anyways, right?
I'm just waiting for Rob to go like,
I can feel it.
Python versus boa.
Yeah, I'm gonna love it if the three choices are just boa, python, boa versus python part two.
Yeah, we're doing the prequel, but
Or the prequel tapeworm.
Producer, hardly boa.
Hmm. Hmm.
Second,
I can't be fucked waiting for Pal. Let's go. Anyone in opposition to that?
all in
Sorry, what?
favour, say aye. Aye.
Me.
I was saying Burns.
Me. Who keeps saying that?
It was him. Let's get him, fellas.
Okay.
Oh fuck it, let's get started. Ben, why did you pick this film?
Yeah.
Well, it's been an old favourite of mine for a while.
I think you're gonna go, what is the film?
What's the film?
And it's Mel Brooks is probably one of my favorite comedy writers for his influence on loads of stuff I love, and I felt that it was I think it's as far as I'm led to believe it's his first feature film directed and written by him, and it kind of sets the bar and tone of what everything else he'd do later in his career in terms of like what type of humor and what kind of genre and tone he'd go for when he makes movies, and how he critiques, parodies and homages all sorts of influences for every type of film you can think of. But this was quite, compared to the other films, this is quite a basic idea, but executed really, really well, I find. And it's just held together by two great performances and lots of other smaller supporting actors all the way through it that kind of like complement not just the script, but the tone and the writing and just the style of the movie itself, because it's not everyone's cup of tea. The humor is very niche and very, very, very what's the word?
Controversial?
Yeah, you could say it. But I think that's what's the
Whatever.
beauty of it, is it's deliberately so, and it knows that it is. It's not doing it in a way that it's ignorant at the times, because if he knew at the time this would be quite a risk of a film, and it's only as the years go on, it's still just as effective as it was then, if not more so. But as I think the director Mel Brooks would say, is that he wouldn't be able to make this film. He barely made this film then, let alone now. So it says a lot that he still managed to get this idea off the ground, and I feel that it's still relevant to this day, and just how not only is it funny for the reasons that it's poking fun of like the film and theatre industry and how people make money off of things that are rubbish, and this film is uses that and just builds on that premise really smartly and cleverly, with how it can find humor in every single avenue it goes into. So I feel it is quite a good talking point for that reason, just because it's just, you can't predict it, but even the parts that you can predict, it just goes in a way that just either shocks you or confuses you or just makes you just like, well, you get the idea. But yeah, that's the producers in a nutshell, really.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know. I can imagine that Mel Brooks kind of went, "Oh, I'd love to make a musical about Hitler," but the only way that he could do it was by making it a musical within a
Yeah.
film. And then the way that he decided to do that was by scamming old women.
Well, that's the thing. Only a Jew like Mel Brooks could get away with it. No other race could be able to pull it off. That's for sure.
I really thought I misheard you then.
I hoped I did, and then I realized I did hear you correctly, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, no, it's I don't. Yeah, you are right. Like it's sort of, it's one of those films where if somebody said like, "Oh, I don't know who Mel Brooks is, and I have no idea who they are, and I'd like to know who they are," you could quite easily show them this film as like a barometer for whether it's worth showing them anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, because like if you loved it, you're probably gonna like all the others, and if you didn't, you're not gonna like the others anymore.
No,
Pretty certain of that.
especially Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
That film. Oof.
I think it's like for the first sort of 20 minutes ish where they're sort of outlining the scam and all of that stuff. I was kind of sitting there watching it like, man, this is great. They're going to take down Hollywood, and then all it amounted to was they scammed some old women to make a play about Hitler. And even saying the premise is just really funny to me.
I think that's what works for us, or for a few of us at least, because it's just that's so silly and bonkers, and just on paper it doesn't make much sense, but it's just so amusing.
Yeah.
But I think the bit that got me the most is the fact that the play went well and it was successful, and it's just that juxtaposition of, yeah, we're gonna do this and it's gonna be shit because everything we've picked is bad, and then because the bloke's so bad at being Hitler, it's a success.
well, that was something that I kind of. Sorry, I guess we're just doing the little mini personal statements, but that was my kind of thing with the film because, like, I think I found the humor of it like really, really timeless, and I was like, man, considering this was made in the '60s, like this is all really relevant still. Like, to you know, Ben saying stuff about making money off of something terrible, and I'm just like thinking back to watching Thor: Love and Thunder and going, because like I think my exact like words were, "Wow, the producers is more relevant than I thought." But yeah, I was really, really impressed with how everything was still quite relevant today, which I thought was a bit incongruent with the ending, because I found all the stuff to do with the hippie thing. I was like, oh, that you kind of had to be there for that. So I thought it was really weird that there was like kind of like this anthill that was all kind of based on all this timeless stuff, and then the bit at the top, the spire, if you will, is just like this bit that you kind of had to be there for. And I was like, oh, that was a little bit odd to me. But
Yeah, that's fair. You have to go into that more because I didn't find that jarring, but maybe it's something I'm used to because I've seen the film a few times.
I think it's just like, I think because you have climate change as being like a thing. Like, I don't want to go down this avenue too much, but like because that's just like kind of like so prevalent.
Yeah.
There was like a scene where you have the hippie guy and he's doing like his little musical number and he's singing about flowers and he's wearing big boots, and you know, some lass has got a keyboard, and then you kind of cut back to everyone and they're all going like, and I was like, then I sang a song, didn't I?
Yeah, that's true. I see that.
I was just like, what's the problem here? I don't understand. But yeah. Sorry, so that's my personal statement, I suppose.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's Humphrey.
Yeah. I'll do mine now.
You got a spiky wrist tonight, then?
I do. Yeah. I was
Chastity wrist.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
I think you started with yeah.
Yeah. So that's because when it started and I had the title card, I was like, what the fuck has Ben picked? When it goes through the women, I'm like, what? And then as the film went on, it kind of it expand.
The first time I watched that, I just sent a string of like just vomit emojis, and I was just like, Ben, what is this?
Oh, dude, I felt like I was watching the inside of Ben's head whenever he meets Pat.
No, I hope not.
It's like when the old lady's laying on the desk, and I'm just like, oh.
Is this what John thinks about when he talks about title cards, right? Because like I know that we had this conversation multiple times about him hating title cards, but it's like every time John thinks about title cards, he goes, "Fucking old ladies again."
All the title cards and lock them in a basement, and we never speak of them again. There's no title card.
I think the thing that I loved so much about that though was that I said at the time, like, this is exactly how Ben would edit Pat if he made a film starring Pat, because like, you've got all the stuff going on with the old women, but they're not really the joke. The joke is just all the freeze frames on the guy's face.
Yeah. Is this how he reacts to it?
Oh.
Sorry, carry on.
But yeah, so I was kind of like, what the fuck is this? And then when Gene Wilder come on, I was like, oh, I know what type of film this is going to be. And then it just ran. Yeah, it was going to be Willy Wonka. But no, so as it goes on, you see their plan, and then like there's little bits that just start happening. You're like, what the fuck? And then when you meet the fucking playwright, who's when he's a Nazi and he's doing all the different, I'm like, oh my god. And it just, I can imagine this being, well, yeah, it's timeless because it's still pretty controversial now. Even though you can, it's like there's certain countries where they've banned the swastika and anything to do with the Nazis. And it's, well, yeah, but there's, yeah, it just got progressively more outlandish. But yeah, I loved it. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really.
The nice thing with Humphrey is, where the bookends are, because he goes, yeah. He's sort of a rapper like that.
Yeah,
it ends with a
yeah.
Okay, so
go on, Si.
Okay, for this movie, I mean,
yeah,
these guys, they really put on a show.
I'm so glad we made this a running thing now. You'll be doing this the rest of your life.
But in all seriousness, this film was quite good, right? Because like when I first started it, and it was with the title cards and all the old ladies and like the whole case of old ladies that he had in his fucking cupboard, I was like, what the fuck have I started? Then afterwards it got, because Gene Wilder is obviously Willy Wonka to everyone who's probably watched him as in the films that he's been in, right? But it's like seeing him being so eccentric is I'm used to, but seeing him being eccentric and insane with his little blanket, right? I was just like, really? What have I got in? What is this film? What have I gotten myself into? Then when they play Springtime for Hitler, my face was exactly the same as everyone in the audience. My face was like, what the fuck is this shit?
That's funny because I can see some guy in the audience and he had my reaction to Boa versus Python. He was going like,
cool. But explain it. It's because of the whole thing is. It's satire of the film is satire, obviously, but it's just like seeing it build up and get to that point was a bit uncomfortable, I guess, because like when you go to what is the name of the author, the crazy Nazi guy, because I can't remember, but when they go to his apartment, right, I just, because you see like the the Hitler picture of Hitler on the wall. I'm just thinking, damn, just like filming in that apartment would have been so uncomfortable just to see all that shit there. I'm like, that's so awkward. But it makes it. But that's what we realized. Oh, right, the awkwardness, the over the topness is kind of what makes this movie. And it's like, oh yeah, that's not all right, because as long as you can see the funny side of it, then it is funny. But if you can't see the funny side of it, then it's just offensive and controversial, which is like what happens for like when this. I remember this film coming out, reading about this film coming out. Everyone who watched it was either like, oh yeah, this is great, or what the fuck have you? What this is atrocious. And I was like, yeah, I can see both sides of that. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
that's quite a good summary of it. Actually, is that if you find it funny, then it is quite funny. But if you don't find it funny, then you could probably accuse it of being sympathetic towards Hitler.
Fair. I do think that
I don't know if I get that.
if you like critiqued it in a way, it's more poor taste than anything than actually being like supportive or anything like that. Because throughout the film, both characters are kind of like, they know this is bad because we're going to find the worst thing in the world. So therefore, we're going to find the most offensive thing that literally triggers so many people and use that as a blueprint for what we're going to do. We don't believe in it, but we believe that everyone hates it. So that's what we're going to choose. So I think you can see the logic and how they come to that conclusion. And it's not because, oh yeah, this is cool, we're going to do this. It's more like we're going to do this because we know this will upset so many people and we think it's bad, but that's why we're going to use it.
I went to go and look because I was trying to look up the whole my main issue with the film, and I searched like, is the producers realistic? And then one of the articles was 18 reasons why the producers is so offensive, and I was like, only 18? Like, weak source, mate. But, right, Rob, you got one?
I was just gonna. Before you start, Rob, I was going to say, like, you said about the room being offensive, like you got the pictures in and you got him, like the bloke acting. What about when they're walking down the road and they got the fucking armbands on? And they're in the...
Oh, no, but Gene Wilder was probably like holding his arm, like, I don't want to wear this, man. This is too much. It's like, fucking just throw it away, then. It's fine. It's like...
But it's like, that is just... I'd say that was worse because they're actually in public and people probably saw that and thought, what the fuck?
Yeah, but that's why it's important that you see Gene Wilder's character be visibly like upset and distraught that he has to wear this thing, and he tears off and spits on it when he's throwing it in the rubbish bin. So it's not like he's just like, yeah, this is cool. But the other guy is so like, doesn't give a shit. That's what's so interesting about his character compared to Gene Wilder. He's just walking, doesn't really care.
He's
offends.
He's bankrupt both financially and morally.
Yeah, he's just like, all he cares about is money and the end goal. And Gene's like, his conscience is sort of rubbing into him a bit and saying, this is wrong. We shouldn't really be doing this. And how far do we have to go to get what we want?
It's just like, I don't care how much money we're going to make. I'm not wearing this. And then he throws it in the bin and spits on it. It's like, yep, that's...
I think that's the thing, though. You absolutely needed Gene Wilder for that role because all he did was take off a Nazi armband because he didn't want to wear it and spit on it. But it was so funny just because of like the way that he did it.
Yeah,
and it's I don't know. Like, it's something that shouldn't. Well, yeah, it's just it's something that anyone would do, really. But because it's Gene Wilder, I cracked up. I absolutely love that scene.
Right. So, do you have a personal statement, Rob, or have you good?
Oh, I could do a little one, I suppose. So I read a review from Roger Ebert, and he was talking about going to the premiere. What have you got against Roger Ebert?
It's just wrong about lots of things.
He's the anti-Alec.
Well, anyway, I read a review from Roger Ebert, and he wrote about going to see the premiere, and he said that there was a point where he was in a lift with Mel Brooks and some woman, and the woman recognised Mel Brooks, and she apparently said to him, "Mr. Brooks, your film was vulgar." And he replied, "No, lady, that's where you're wrong. It rose below vulgarity." And I thought that was quite a nice summary of it. But But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's just I found the whole thing so absurd that I thought it was like there's a lot that I didn't like, and I suppose I'll get into that later. But just as a concept and just most of the execution, I thought it was hilarious, man. I thought it was a great pick after the round that we had.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But really, in answer to your question, I don't trust a man who rates films out of 4. I think it's barbaric.
Okay.
Oh, he does.
Barbaric and backward. Fucking Roger Ebert. Patrick,
Alec,
hello.
hi.
How do?
All right.
Would you like to give a personal statement about the producers?
Fucking hate it.
I wouldn't say I hated it. I didn't like it though. I think it all comes from the fact that I watched the remake about must be nearly 20 years ago now. I can't remember when it came out.
2005.
Yeah, so
Oh.
best part of 20 years ago now. So I didn't really sort of take to it then. Like I get there was supposed to be sort of it's supposed to be satire, it's supposed to be funny. And I do find the most immature stuff funny, but I was like, it's just not hitting with me. So watching this one, I basically had the same feelings as the remake.
That's a shame.
Gene Wilder played the role really well, but I found his character so fucking annoying.
Oh,
Like that-
Yeah,
How
okay, I
dare
can
you,
see.
Pat?
Did
How
you
dare
not
you.
even have a soft
that
spot
blanket that blanket scene made me cringe so hard.
I can understand that because, like, if you don't know if it's just like him actually being it or being the character of it, and it's like, all right, yeah, if you can't see that side of the comedy, then you go, it's just cringe. But then, yeah, I get what you mean. That okay, fair enough.
So I wanted to like the satire stuff about the Nazis, but I was like, this just isn't really striking a chord with me. I've tried to be as fair as I can be with the scores. Like, I don't necessarily think there's much wrong with the writing or the acting or stuff like that, but I'll be honest, I was bored.
Oh, okay, that's a bit harsh.
Like, so we'll go back to, so me and Alec had a back and forth about
Well,
As you do.
we had a back and forth. Get out of here.
Never.
because I said that I felt like this film didn't seem like it was ever going to end, considering we'd watched Zodiac last week. But I found,
Simon back.
but for me, Zodiac felt like a shorter film. But that will come through the fact that I was much more engaged with the product than
Okay. Okay, fair,
I knew.
fair enough.
I knew
If
you two were going to sit up when I say product.
Yeah.
But this one, it felt miles longer. But that tends to happen when you're not enjoying something. That's more of a.
okay.
I'd say it's more of a me thing. Like, I've even looked at reviews on various review sites, and people loved the film. It's just one of those that's just not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. It's just like if you don't see the funniness or see the comedy and you just go, this is just dragging on a bit, and it'll drag on a bit in your mind as well. So I can totally imagine that.
Yeah.
I guess the only question is, like, I know, sorry, Dan, that this was like Bo vs Python was shorter than this. Did you think it dragged on more or less than Bo vs Python?
This film?
Yeah, this
Uh,
film.
Oh no, I reckon the fucking Boa versus Python dragged on too long.
Yeah, okay. I kind of guessed that. How about you, Pat? How did you think?
Well, I at least found Boa versus Python funny.
Oh,
But I found much
okay.
more I found much more comedy in that. But
Okay, cool.
I'd say Boa versus Python dragged on a little bit more. In sort of the second half of it. whereas the first half was probably unintentionally funny.
Okay, okay.
It's because they got rid of the Hunter character, who was wearing a
Ugh.
sexy ass leather body warmer.
Okay, no, I just had to gauge how you guys found that film. Okay, with this film. Okay, cool. But
I
this
did.
film.
Sorry.
Oh no, go on, bro.
I was just going to say, I did mark it down a little bit just because I read a quote from Mel Brooks saying that one of his lifelong sort of goals that he set for himself was to make people laugh at Hitler. And this film was essentially like his way of getting back at Hitler and sort of, I think he called it like vengeance through humour or something like that.
Right.
I'm not sure I ever really laughed at Hitler though. I think I was more laughing at the idea that they were going to make a musical about Hitler.
Hitler was like exclusively the bit that I was not laughing at any point. Like that, again, I think this comes down to kind of like you need to be immersed in the time period thing. But like, I didn't get the joke. Well, I mean, I understood what the joke was doing. I understood like, oh, is Hitler as a hippie, and it's like, yeah, that's probably really funny if you're surrounded by hippies and they're really weird to you. But to me, he was just going, "Hey, man, we shouldn't bomb Germany. We live in Germany." And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I was about to say, because isn't that character a caricature of hippies and, well, gay people of that time, and people of that time find it funny?
Hippies / gay people.
Well, it's not. I mean, like, because like Hitler itself, the guy who played Hitler himself was kind of funny, but then afterwards they had Goebbels come in as well and becomes his like extra hippie friend. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can see how like the characteristics of those characters work as satire for that particular audience. I was like, okay, yeah, that's funny in itself. It wasn't the funniest thing of that movie, right? Because like there are so many extra bits that made that scene better. But like
that's kind of why I didn't get why everyone was going like, because for me, I was I found the opening number like quite funny. So then when they go, so like and people are reacting to it, and I was like, yeah, this is great. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll leave it there to be honest. And then they kind of just they carry on with the little theater bit, and then everyone comes back and goes, oh, hey, he's funny. And I was like, what are the jokes? What are the jokes though? And he's just speaking like a hippie. And if he's dressed as Hitler, and I was like, "Oh, that's the."
But yeah,
this is a weird thing to. This is the climax. This is the whole thing of that they've built up to, and the joke is they've tried to orchestrate a flop, and then they've accidentally made something quite amusing to people, and I was just like, this is the least I've been amused the whole time. It's just the guy dressed as Hitler going, "Hey, man." And I was like, I don't get why this is amusing. I'm sorry, I don't.
Or is it the juxtaposition of Hitler being a warmonger and the hippies are against war? Because this is during the time of the Vietnam War, and they was really against it. So that's probably why they was finding it funny, because hippies were against war and Hitler was.
I think it was just like joke construction. And like, he just didn't seem to be doing anything other than
talking shit.
Well, he just seems to be doing the Taika Waititi thing where he just says something in a funny voice, and people are going like, "This is amazing," and it's like, oh, so maybe it is again relevant.
Yeah, I mean, like afterwards, because like you talk about him being a hippie and all that scene, then afterwards, the actual Nazi dude comes up onto the stage and like. He makes the curve down and he starts complaining at the audience. But then afterwards, he gets hit in the head with something and he falls down. I can understand why afterwards the audience would think that's also part of the play, because it's, again, it's like, oh, wait, look, we have funny hippie Hitler, then we have crazy Nazi author dude who comes in and gets hit on the head like it's a slapstick comedy and he falls down. It's great. And I was like, oh, yeah, because like, if you're so immersed in it, I think, as the audience, you would just think you'll just go along with it.
He is really funny. Like I really like that actor. He's in Malcolm in the Middle, and like it's really because like he's like quite old and fat in Malcolm in the Middle. So seeing him in this when he's quite young, I was just like, oh yeah, it's Otto from Malcolm in the Middle. That's really cool. But it's just they start laughing at the performance that the hippie guy gives, and I wasn't detecting any jokes happening. But
I think a lot of it is they're laughing at the laughing at the not really the person, but it's the attitude the person has. Instead of it's like they're not laughing with the jokes or laughing with the person. They're laughing at the person because it's so stupid.
I think it's just like the juxtaposition of like this is the polar opposite of what Hitler was like. So that's probably why the audience found it funny, because he's just like a typical because what's the word? You go ahead, Dan. I'm trying to
because he's unintentionally mocking Hitler by bad acting.
Yeah, maybe that's
because like the way he's like, well, we're gonna do this and we're gonna invade Poland, and it's just like
you sound like Team America.
It literally is Team, because that was quite offensive as well. And it's exactly it's just the fact that he's doing this shit and everyone knows that Hitler was this horrible person, and they're just making Hitler look like a fucking buffoon.
But like you compare that with the jokes that we had, like in like the reality of the film, where like Bialystok goes, you're gonna take like the last penny in a man's pocket, and the landlord's like, well, I'm a landlord. Like, there you go. Or like
okay.
Or like the receptionist, he's going like, I want a car, and she goes, oh, for a motel, and he's like, no, for me and Mr. Bloom, and she goes, ooh, you and Mr. Bloom.
Ooh,
and it's like,
yes.
and she goes like, ooh, get a car, and it's like
Yes.
these things. The jokes are constructed quite well. So I was like, oh, this ending will be constructed quite well. And I was just like, oh, it was quite surface level and not that funny, actually.
Well, I think that's kind of the what he was trying to kind of do, if that makes sense. Because instead of making jokes about like current times, if he hated Hitler that much, he's just gonna make him look so stupid that that's why they laugh at him. They probably don't even find it funny. It's just because of the film, the actors are basically just laughing at him because that's the point. It's like it's like deep down kind of, you hate someone so much and you can see him being humiliated in front of you. You go, yeah, that's really funny because this person's complete trash. Yeah, it is a bit jovial, but I think that's kind of what he was going for.
Jovial.
I mean,
Yeah,
well,
you laugh.
I mean, like,
you laugh
this-
at people for being them. It's kind of, it's not really. You're kind of picking on them instead of.
I feel like there's two modern interpretations of this sort of like comedy, right? There's obviously the Jojo Rabbit, right, which is obviously, again, it's like
Taika Waititi's come up 3 separate times now.
okay, but then there's one other
Of them
thing
were
that I
me,
remember
but-
watching. It's the this is a tangent. Okay, it's the South Park episode with Osama bin Laden as Bugs Bunny characters, and I was like, that's kind of funny, right? Because like it's taking Osama bin Laden, and he's supposed to be really offensive, as very scary, terrorist guy, but they've made him just like a complete cartoon of himself because of the Bugs Bunny, like Warner Brothers stuff. And I'm like, I can see why that would be funny, and it was kind of funny at that time, right? But it's like, oh, because it's essentially you're taking something that's supposed to be menacing and scary and all that, like threatening, but you've made them into a stupid cartoon version of themselves, and that's why it's funny, and it's like it's because it's like changing what is the complete dynamic of the character of what people have thought of him, and because it's now just satirized version of themselves, and it's like cool, we can make fun of it because of how they've done it and how they've made them. It's funny, and because it's funny, it's not scary, and it's just the way it is for them, I guess.
That's a good point, actually, because in the week I was saying, it's mad that the time difference between the producers being made in World War II is the same as the time difference between now and 9/11. But thinking about it, there is quite a lot of Osama bin Laden parody around.
Sorry, and I'm just thinking about that South Park episode because there's like a running joke where the premise is they go and they get given a goat, and then they go and try and bring the goat back to Afghanistan. Everyone keeps going, "Oh my god, it's Stevie Nicks!" And this goat just keeps going, "Meh," and they're like, "Stevie Nicks, wait!" And there's also an extended bit because like Cartman's being the Bugs Bunny, and I think Osama bin Laden's being the Elmer Fudd, Daffy Duck kind of guy. But like, there's a bit where Cartman dresses up a camel, and Osama bin Laden goes to fuck it. But yeah,
yeah, okay. But you get why it's funny though, right? Because it's supposed to be he's supposed to be scary terrorist dude, but because we made his whole image into funny, stupid camel fucking, it becomes a whole thing about like it's no longer scary. It's no longer a thing that people have like threats or anything about of it right now. Because I know even nowadays, but definitely in 20 years' time, people will definitely talk about the immortality of the Queen, but because she's dead now, it doesn't matter. Everyone's gonna make jokes about that. At least, well, they're making jokes about it now, but like in 20 years, there could be so many more jokes.
We're about to see Simon get arrested. This is gonna be really good.
No. That's the way that
you can't say the Queen's dead.
That's the way that society is, right?
That's the
way that society is, because like they have the topic, they will have the topic, and it's like the main topic or the serious topic or unserious topic. We don't know. But then after there will always be people who will be like counter to that topic or counter to that situation, and there will always be satirizations. There will always be comedy. It's always going to be a thing, right? And because it's going to be a thing, it's always going to happen eventually, because South Park again is going to be about 22.5 years. So we can make fun of it again. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. It's just the way that happens, because people eventually will move on and it will just become comedy, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah, I think it's sorry, just to put like a line under this, because I know we want to talk about other stuff, but like I get the point of the scene. I get like what the scene is going for. I just don't think the scene was executed particularly well, and I specifically don't like the actor they chose to be that actor. It's difficult now. But
well, I mean, because like they had the stage full of Hitlers. Sorry. Like they're like, no, all the dancing Hitlers over to this side. We need the singing Hitlers here. And it's like, oh, okay. It's always like move the Hitlers along, right? It's like, yeah, okay. I feel like seeing all the different.
I thought the director's lover / secretary / whatever the fuck is going on there. I thought he was brilliantly cast. I thought he was great. He looked like some kind of warlock.
older bloke that looked like Chinese. What's his name?
What's his name?
Chinese. You know when they made Sean
you mean
Connery?
Fu Manchu?
No. You know when they made Sean Connery?
Chinese.
No. Yeah, that's
He
so
only looks
stupid.
like-
I hate that.
But yeah, he looks
Oh
like
man, are
some
we gonna
kind
talk
of.
about political stuff about casting?
It's so ridiculous. But yeah, he looks like a fucking. He looks like the devil. When you ever see like old kind of cartoons of the devil, he's always got like a pointy beard, like pointy eyebrows, and there, he looked completely fucking stupid. Oh, and the bit where bloody Gene Wilder goes, he's wearing a dress. It's like, fuck's sake.
Yeah, there's some stuff like obviously like stuff like that is still like that's a bit radical for people now. So like, yeah, you can't really
Yeah.
be mad at it. But like, it's just like, man, this really fucking
Oh,
changed.
you
I don't know. Yeah, I thought that'd be Mel Brooks' reaction to just kind of like, here's what's happening now, and Mel Brooks would be like, oh my god, what's happening? But, woke? No, not really. But yeah, just as like a little opener, just like this was really weird, and it's like you look at stuff like hippies, and that was really weird, and you're just like, he's just wanting to help nature and get
That's
fucking
him.
high. Well, that's all right.
Like the fact that he crushes the flowers. He's like, what happened to the flowers? And it's like, you just crushed them. You
And you
did.
just go like, actually, Mel, what's happening now? We're having like a non-binary genders. Just like, oh god, I've lost half my material.
Yeah, I read something else actually that apparently when it came out, Mel Brooks estimated that he received a letter from every rabbi in New York complaining about it.
Wow.
Every rabbi.
Are the two main characters supposed to be Jewish, or like is that just a?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I don't know. It's hard. I think it's just Mel Brooks just bleeding into the characters he writes. You know, but it's never stated.
I got you. I didn't like because especially because his name's Bialystok. I didn't like because it's a Polish thing.
Hmm.
I didn't know if it was supposed to be.
Wait, sorry, did I just leave the meeting or what happened?
I don't know. You just sort of left and came back.
Well, I did. I know I didn't press leave meeting, so I was just maybe my Wi-Fi cut. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ!
Hashtag kick Simon.
Nice. I mean, I didn't know you guys were all royalists. Christ.
Oh.
But where were we?
Only Pat's a royalist.
Okay.
Pat doesn't know what day it is.
No, I don't. I really don't.
Okay.
Anyway,
Was this?
I feel like I've been talking a lot, so I want to let someone else have a go.
Yeah,
Was this the most offensive movie that you had for your like pick list, or would you say you have more offensive, controversial films that you guys done in like film club?
This is probably like the most controversial in like a historical sense. I don't know if it's the most controversial generally. In
What
the most
is-
controversial,
Oh, what is?
possibly Antichrist.
that's
In terms of inside the group, yeah,
Mm.
Antichrist. But
As in the subject matter.
As referenced by Pat.
oh, my mind instantly went Greatest Showman.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, the most offensive in
no,
Wait.
that's,
Okay.
The Greatest Showman is the only film that we've had that's glorified a slave owner. So
I think it's one of them ones where that someone who made it thought, oh yeah, we're going to use this character that we know little about, and did research the thing and made this big film that everyone loves, and then then you find out the bloke's a massive racist and horrible human being.
Hmm.
But
I
people
guess the
love the
question-
songs.
Question
think
now
the-
is,
I
how
think The
many of you
Greatest
guys
Showman-
like The Greatest Showman?
no,
Good job,
I
Hans.
very much didn't.
Not
And if
anymore.
Nobody.
anyone did, the amount I disliked it cancels it out.
Well, that was the thing.
I'm
Like,
the only one in this chat that liked it.
Fuck you,
Oh, wait,
Pat.
Simon, if you ever get the chance, right?
Don't watch it.
I want you
Don't.
to find the video of the recording because John says why he picked it, and then we just go off on one. We just go off on one, and like
Oh.
we just he's like, why didn't you guys like it? And we just go, do you know anything about the background of the film? And he goes, no, go on, and it just goes on for like 2 hours, and John doesn't say a word in those 2 hours,
Yep.
and then it ends, and we're like, "You're right, John," and then he turns his camera on, and he's like in bed, and he's like, "I still like the film, but I'm going now."
Simon, you know how generally during the week, if something irks Alec, he will go on and on and on and on and on. That was basically everyone in the one call, and I'm sat there
Oh.
like,
Wow. Okay.
I never felt less alone than when we were all just talking about the greatest show.
Okay.
I
Okay. This is the tangent to. I'll try to bring it back. I'll just make my statement quickly then. When I first watched The Greatest Showman, I thought, oh yeah, this is quite a catchy film, right? It's quite nice. Then I watched the honest trailers of The Greatest Showman. I got,
this is
oh no. Oh no! Oh no! What have I watched, and why have I watched this? Oh no! But I really like the song still. But like,
Oh,
no!
God.
I
dear.
hated the songs. Like literally, that was the thing.
oh, here we go.
Oh no! Actually,
Okay.
that's a fantastic bit of the recording
because I
because
feel-
me and Rob spend all this time just building all this stuff up, and then Humphrey comes in with the header.
whoever likes this is an idiot.
Wow. Okay.
Honestly, man, when I
Nice,
watched it,
nice.
right? So I watched it with Rachel, and I did, even just as a film, I was like, "This is absolutely shit," because it's just there's so much wrong about it. Like even if you just like the songs, they're so out of context. None of this makes any sense. And then I did the slightest bit of research about P.T. Barnum. And I was like, oh, wow, his first attraction was a slave. And somehow it got worse from there.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, why is this piece of shit in existence?
It wasn't the
The
fact
more,
it's
the more
a slave.
people who are educated about this film, the better.
Yeah. Okay.
The thing about that the attraction was
Wait, Dan. Let's not, because we're really divulging from the producers.
no.
Okay,
Just
okay.
just
okay.
the final thing about that whole thing with the slave. It wasn't the fact that it was just a slave. It was the fact that he said that the slave was twice its age. So he basically said, "Oh yeah, this slave's like 160 years old, and it was an 80-year-old person." And they made it an attraction. It was just like, oh, I hate this so much.
Awful film about an awful person.
But the songs were so.
I've watched it again since the call as well.
Oh.
I'm sorry to hear that, Pat.
I wouldn't be sorry. I enjoy it. I don't give a shit. what you
I am
guys think.
sorry to hear that.
Well,
If
okay,
anything
okay.
makes me sorrier.
I
And
feel
nothing against you, Ben, but I'd probably watch The Greatest Showman again over this film.
Wow.
Or while we're talking about offensiveness,
Bye, guys. See you later. I'm
The
leaving
greatest
in chat.
offence.
I wouldn't watch The Greatest Showman again over Two Girls, One Cup.
You've actually seen Two Girls, One Cup. Is the point, right?
as someone who's seen Two Girls, One Cup, I would not. I would not watch Greatest Showman again.
What about this versus The Last Night?
Sorry?
Transformers The Last Night.
No,
I'll watch that again.
Yeah.
I won't watch The Greatest Showman again.
Damn! John, if you ever watch this, you should go. I didn't mean to start this conversation.
he won't.
I love you, really, man.
He
I
won't
really love
watch
you.
this. It's fine.
Seriously, now we've brought up The Greatest Showman.
Oh, I
I'm
hate
feeling
it.
angry butterflies.
Oh, I fucking hate that film.
I don't want
Okay.
to disservice the producers, but
Sorry.
like I could talk for absolute days about The Greatest Showman.
Okay. So back to this. I never realized how much fun going to work could be.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Go to work. Okay. I go to work. Takes off the
Oh,
earrings.
no.
Starts dancing. Yeah. It's like,
Oh,
huh. yeah. I wish going to work was this fun all the time, but it's not going to work. It's like
There's
so
a
fun.
there is a fucking weird amount of people who are willing to have sex with the Max Bialystock. It's like you
my
look
God.
fucking hideous.
That's the thing that got me the most was that whole bit with that secretary where she's just dancing. I was just like, what the fuck? I know the whole Nazi bit was pretty absurd, but yeah, I've got to work. And she starts
What a
dancing,
quote.
like, what the fuck is this? And then she does it again. You're like,
Yeah, because he went out to get himself a toy, is what he said, right? He's like, yeah, I'll get a toy. I deserve this toy. And then it's like, yeah, cool. This is an interesting toy that you fought back.
oh god,
It's great. It's great. It's so stupid.
It's pretty hideous. But
it is.
Um,
Uh,
I think that's kind of the thing. Like this is like a really important distinction to make, which I think gets lost in like modern stuff. Again, not to bring up Taika Waititi, but he did kind of make Thor Boris Johnson. But like the film recognizes that Max Bialystock is kind of, I say kind of, he's really fucking gross. And like the film is aware of that. And that's kind of, well, that is the joke. The joke is Max Bialystock is fucking gross, and like you should be laughing at Max Bialystock, and you should be kind of laughing at Leo Bloom as well for being won over by Max Bialystock.
well, I feel like for Gene Wilder's character, right? It's just because he's not all there anyways. That's why he's taking him around like Central Park, like he's trying to treat a child, right? I just thought, man, this is so fucking creepy.
I thought it was really funny because he was going like, "I'm gonna take you out for lunch. Let's go." And he's just like, "We'll dine al fresco," and it's a fucking hot dog.
And the bloke's like,
And he's like,
"Give me my
"Thank you, my
fucking
good man." He's
I
like,
lo-
"I'll tender me $50," and he's like, "You fucking come on."
No, I love that bit so much. What's his name? Shit, the bigger guy.
Bialystock,
No, his first name.
Max.
No,
Yeah, when he's like, "Oh, you can call me Max," and then Gene Wilder's. No, it's the other way around, isn't it? Or
no,
is
no,
it?
he does do that.
Gene Wilder calls him Max like 3 times in a row, and then he goes, "You can call me Leo," and he's like, "I already did."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I already have.
because like it's supposed to be like one of those uplifting scenes, like or motivational scenes, but you just know he's just being a creep and he's just scamming Gene Wilder's character of Bloom, right? And like especially when it's like, yes, I'll do it, I'll really, and a water fountain just sprays up at that timing, and I was thinking,
Oh, I love that.
I loved it, but I hated it so much because it's like
Oh,
it's supposed to be motivational, but it's like you're just scamming the dude before to do tax fraud. It's just not nice. He's just being an asshole. But I was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense because Gene Wilder's character is like that, right?
dude, I think that's my favorite scene because like
Oh no, I did it to you
That's
now.
mine.
Oh, shit.
because you've got kind of like the fountain in the background and it's basically like a scene from like an MGM musical and it's that classic thing where I don't know, like a couple are gonna finally get together or something like that, but all that's happening is 2 idiots are in the park and they're trying to scam old lady.
He's basically-
I found it, I was crying at it.
Right. But like,
I'm just thinking, you can see how like seductive Max Bialystock can be. Like he can go like, "Hey," he gives you a fucking hot dog and takes you on like a little river boat on the lake, and you're like, "I'm happy. How's this happening?"
He's
It's like, "Oh,
fucking
you poor fuck."
he's splashing the water in, and he's like, he's like fucking. Oh,
Even the bit when he goes like, "Do you want me to smile?" He's just like, "Yes, please." And he does this awful like, has that, and he's like, "It's nice." I was like, "Is it?"
I think that's the thing about his character, though, and it's interesting that you were talking about the comparison with Thor: Love and Thunder, because in Thor: Love and Thunder, they kind of take Boris Johnson and like it's basically them going like, "Oh, and it's funny, isn't it?" And it's like, "Well, no, not really. It's just got like." You've just given Thor a similar speech pattern. That's all that's happened.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, he actually does have a similar quality to Boris Johnson because you're going like, you are an awful person, but I'm drawn to you, and I'm not sure why.
Well, again, the film is aware he's a horrible person. It's like, yeah, that kind of makes all the difference because Thor: Love and Thunder is not aware he's a horrible person. And that's what makes it insufferable. Sorry, Pat.
So,
Oh, right.
what I've got to say now. God damn it! I was gonna say, he's getting so many of those old ladies. I can't even remember. Like he goes on.
Well, also did he? Because like they
Fuck.
very willingly. I mean, yes, but like they.
It's not an argument.
Well, no, okay. Because
Did
like,
he
Did
scam
he
those old
scam
women
them?
by
Can you
course he
scam
can.
an old? I mean, if they're old ladies, they kind of don't matter, and they'll give their money for anything. So
yeah, but like, remember they had goes, yes, this is for your new play. I'm just confused. Is this the name of it? Yes, just write it down. So to cash is the name of your play. Yes, absolutely. Okay. I've heard of a play called this before, To Cash. Okay. I was like, yes, thank you. I had to kiss her hand, but I then have to check away from her. It's like, yeah, Max, you're proper sleazeball, aren't you? Perfect.
I did also
Perfect.
realize I am one of those old ladies because the one where he goes up to the the flat and he rings the bell and they go, "Who is it?" And he's like, "Max Bialystock." And she goes, "Oh, I thought it was a burglar." And then she undoes like 27 locks and he's like, "Fuck's sake." I was like, I am that old lady. Okay, I get it. It's
Yeah, I really love that bit as well, where they're like, "We've sold 160% of the play. How much can we sell? 100."
It was way more than 160.
so they
wasn't
sold 2,500%.
it? Yeah, that's it.
That's kind of another thing. I was just kind of like, these old ladies, like, again, they don't matter. But like, if I was going to own 100% of a play, I'd want to see it. And I think if you're that old, you're probably at least a little bit aware of Hitler.
Yeah.
You may be going and go. I mean, I guess they don't know which play it is.
Yeah,
But
that's the
if-
key. They don't know the title.
Yeah,
But
maybe that's
why-
just
Although
fucked up my whole-
if they don't know the title, it's not really important that it flops.
well, I mean, it is to like the people in the court, right? Because afterwards, you know, as the juror who stands there goes, "We find the defendants incredibly guilty," because like that's what have they done? It's fucking. But I can just imagine, are all those old ladies that are waiting in like the stalls behind? Are all those old ladies backers for Max?
Wait, yeah, no, hang on a minute. If they don't know the name of the play, they won't know that it flops. They're looking for one called Cash.
Cash, yeah. It's just like
So if there's no play called Cash that
Well,
shows up in the theatre, as far as they're concerned, Bialystock has not released a play called Cash.
well, I mean, they know that Max was arrested and is on trial. That's why they're all there, I guess.
Oh no,
They're
no,
like,
no.
Oh no!
I just mean logistically, their plan before that happens. They can't tell them it's called Springtime for Hitler because they won't back it. But at the same time, if they're looking for a play called Cash and nothing materializes, then as far as they're concerned, he's not done the play yet.
I guess that's true, but like again, it wouldn't matter as you say because they're old ladies and it doesn't matter.
I don't know if I had 100% in something.
It depends.
Yeah.
If relying on their dementia or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because like one of them was like.
How
really
dare
deaf
you
anyways.
assume that old ladies have dementia? That's really ableist.
No, I just like talk about the one that's really deaf with the ice cream, and she's like, "Ah!"
I love you. And he's
No.
like, oh.
It's like his face is great.
Because I had a problem with like the I had a problem with how when Leo comes up with the idea and he goes, with a little bit of creative accounting, one could make $1 million with this. And I didn't realize that creative accounting meant put it in a fucking box. So, well, like, but like, yeah, because I made that comment to my dad earlier, and he found it quite funny, but you didn't need to know it. But my dad thinks I'm funny. Everybody, be really happy for me. But like when you said about the tax earlier, and I was like, yeah, but if he's, I don't know if he should. I don't know if Leo should be that happy about this then, because like Bialystok is very, very, very eager to spend this money. He's very happy to flaunt what he has. So in terms of the tax that's going to come with spending this, if he's going to be making all these lavish purchases, Leo's not having a fun time at the end of this.
Oh, I mean, he wasn't really adamant to agree with him in the first place. That's why
But the thing is, he has agreed, and he is in with it, and he's gonna go, oh yeah, now this is flopped. We're in the money, and it's like, to stop yourself going under with because you've abetted this basically. You've now got to account for Bialystok's going to be spending a lot, and you've got to explain how he's spending a lot when he's just had a big flop. So this
no, because
you shouldn't be happy about this.
Their plan was if the production flopped, they would go flee to Rio de Janeiro, right?
Was that the plan?
I think that's what they said, right?
He does say it. He says about going. I think it is Rio. He says we go to Rio.
Yeah, I think
Going to fly to Rio.
Well, no, it's because like the production flopped. Then the IRS or IRA? What IRS? No, sorry. IRS.
It'll be the IRS. It won't be the IRA.
Definitely not the IRA.
Sorry.
You haven't paid your taxes.
IRS. The IRS is not going to check out.
Wow. Carry on the offensive. Offensive comments. Content.
I'm
so sorry, Pat. I'm so sorry, Pat.
Why are you sorry to me? They're
because you're in the IRA.
No, because it's Irish.
No, the IRA on Northern Ireland.
Oh, well,
they are now.
No, they're not.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just made. I just forgot my mind. Just slipped a bit. The IRS won't check out a play that flops, and obviously they're not gonna go. All right, the production flops, so they probably didn't spend that much money on it. That's why they could escape to Rio. That's why they needed the play to fail. But because the play was so successful, everyone gave them congratulations. It's like, damn, the congratulations on such a marvelous comedy. Congratulations, such an amazing play. Congratulations, Hitler's gonna last for at least 5 years. It's like, okay, that last telegram was a bit weird, but like, yeah, it's like, yeah, because the play was so successful. That's why he had the problem, because he had to pay back all those old ladies that he tried to scare. Yeah.
Right, I've got to go now. Check the script for mentions of Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
So you guys talk amongst yourselves.
I think Pat's. I thought you'd frozen, Pat.
I think Pat's part of the IRA. He's just messaging. You gotta bomb these cars. Oh no.
They're
You
on
will
to us,
understand.
guys.
Bomb these cants.
Oh, and then we all got arrested.
Ah, fuck it. Part of the journey, innit?
Part of the journey.
Wait.
Hello, Frank.
Hello,
Is what
Frank.
you were saying, Chris?
It's
Hello,
like,
Frank.
There it is.
He looks like he's been taken over.
who's that?
Yeah, I think he has a little bit.
What is Frank?
Say, how old is Frank?
Yeah.
I think he's about 7. Something like
Okay.
that.
Off.
Okay. I mean, 7 is fairly like senior in dog years, I guess. I'm not quite sure. I'm not.
I think he's about middle-aged now.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
middle-aged.
Okay.
Anything past 10, old,
Mm.
pretty much.
That's a
Older.
dangerous soundbite.
Oh,
Man, I
what
was gonna say, so I can kind of understand why Emmanuel didn't like this film, but he's not here, so I really can't discuss it with him.
It's because it was
yeah.
a film he hadn't seen before, and that's why he didn't like it.
I'm absolutely unsurprised that Emmanuel didn't get along with it.
Rob,
Yeah. I've
just researched a little bit of it.
What about the
We're
IRA?
both partially right, so like
The IRA and the IRS are
I'm wrong
partially
where
right.
it's where I said it's only Northern Ireland. It's come up that it's mostly Northern Ireland with limited activity in the Republic.
It's just Republicans, isn't it? It's those in favour of a united Ireland. But it's not like exclusive to anyone.
Yeah. Fuck them anyway. Not Ireland in general. Just the IRA.
Well, poor Pat.
It's all right. I think it's just Casey watching this, so I'm sure he won't rat you out.
I couldn't care less.
Oh, do we have a
Oh.
viewer?
He was the guy who commented and said that Pat did a really good double.
Oh, right. I thought you meant we had a viewer right now.
Oh, I can't see that. You can see that.
Yeah, you can see, everyone can see it.
Can they?
You just have to go on YouTube.
Yeah, apparently we've got one person watching.
Nice. Yeah. Welcome, that guy.
That poor person.
Is it Casey?
If it's Casey's
Yeah,
here
I
for me.
can't see that much.
Oh. If it's Casey, yeah. Come in. Watch the producers and then come in.
Okay.
The only script that I've found is about 157 pages long, but they're all on separate pages. So I will find mention of Rio de Janeiro.
What, they're all on separate web pages?
Yeah. Oh,
Why don't you
Right,
just
right.
watch the film again? Surely it's easier than just fucking. I mean, mind you, I wouldn't recommend watching it again, but you know,
It's not
if
fun.
you enjoyed it, then that's fine.
had to get that in there.
You not look on Wikipedia?
No, I don't want to sign up to watch the producers in the theatre. Fuck's sake.
Oh, I'd watch it in the theatre. I think that'd be hilarious. Imagine
Right.
that with a live audience, man.
When
Okay.
it came out, that'd be great.
Especially, no, it's got to be a live audience of people who've never watched it before.
Yeah.
To be fair, we kind of had that experience with Book of Mormon. With just like a theatre
Yeah.
full of people going, "Oh wow."
Yeah.
I remember watching it and thinking, how the fuck are they getting away with this?
I really want to
Oh,
watch
it's pretty
it.
good though.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, Book of Mormon is proper offensive, but it's pretty good though. Like of like how much they did get away with. It was like, I don't believe they could like sing and they could make a whole goddamn song about this, but they could and they did, and they somehow got away with it. Cool, yeah.
Do you know what? Tonight's call has made me realise that there's actually a lot of parallels between Mel Brooks and Matt Parker and Trey Stone.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, because
But one's got an actual and one's got a little ampersand.
And they
But-
did you say that Mel Brooks is Jewish?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So is
I should hope so.
So is the South Park creators. They're both Jewish as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't think. I think Trey Parker is. I don't think Matt Stone is.
They're not.
yeah, I mean, I know one of them is because he's talked about. That's why he made the Book of Mormon, because he had a girlfriend who was a Mormon, and that's why the idea stuck with him. Okay, but like, yeah, I'll say because like for Matt Stone and Trey Parker, it's like because they, with South Park especially, because they can push the envelope everywhere. It's probably why they can get away with it and why they haven't been cancelled yet. Because like they've done all
Oh
of these.
fuck! I
jokes.
got it wrong. It's Matt Stone who's Jewish, not Trey Parker.
Oh, how embarrassing!
I know.
How dare you?
They're
Alex.
just interchangeable. I don't know. Sorry,
Oh.
son. Go for it.
But it's because like I was saying that they've pushed the envelope for all of the everything that can be offensive and is offensive. That's why you can't really cancel them because like, well, we plan to offend everyone. That's kind of our thing. We make offensive topics about everything, and it's perfectly fine because we do it for everyone. There's nothing is safe, nothing is sacred. Everything can be made fun of, and that's why it's probably like it's one of the comedies that can just get away with everything nowadays because it offends everyone. It's perfect.
I think also the audience for South Park, they know what they're getting, and only people that really like South Park are going to watch it. If people find it offensive, they're not going to watch South Park. So that's probably why they can make what they make, is because they're making it for a particular audience who find everything offensive funny.
Yeah. But like, if
That
the
was where
comedy,
they kind of had to separate with Isaac Hayes because he was like the guy who voiced Chef. That's why they killed him off in season 14.
well, Alec, are you sure that's are you talking about the guy who got sick and like and then said it's not because of the Scientology thing, but because he got sick and he couldn't do the voice acting anymore.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
My understanding of it was he didn't want them making jokes about Scientology. So
No, because like that was from what I remember talking about from like people who have talked about it before. It's like the super hardcore South Park fans are like, no, that's not true. That's just something that they made a rumor about. He got sick. Even his son came out later to say, no, it's just because he got sick and that he couldn't do Chef anymore. And then after he passed away, then he just stopped because obviously Chef is dead because the voice actor for Chef is dead. And that's the reason why.
I didn't know that.
Oh.
Fair enough.
I thought it was
That's
because he got pissed off.
Pissed about the Scientology thing, right? But that's from what I heard, that's utter bullshit. And that's like, oh, wow, I never thought about. Oh, okay, because like from what I understand, okay with everything. Again,
Fuck.
Oh man, I saw the vapor come out of that.
I missed that.
okay, okay, yeah, but yeah, because it's because Chef's voice actor Alec Hayes got sick and he couldn't do the voice acting anymore. That's why they cut him out. That's why it's like, okay, yeah, it's fine because like it doesn't matter because the people who are fans know what it is and they will stick with us anyways. So it's fine. That's why they had the 25th year anniversary concert, didn't they?
My knowledge of South Park drops off after a certain season.
Okay, cool. You've not seen the latest ones where they have weed farms and stuff?
No, I stopped watching it when they started doing like the seasons that they were like that had all the interconnected episodes. I found that quite tiresome.
Okay. Fair
I
enough.
preferred it when it was just fucking random
Deep jokes.
shit happening every time.
Okay.
So my favorite episode of it is the Super Friends episode
Oh,
which very controversially has Muhammad in it, the
Oh,
Prophet.
no.
But
Oh,
we
no.
won't get, and
damn.
it's not because he's in it. It's because there's like just a volume of like jokes that really work. Because like there's like a little bit where they get all their hair cut off, and then like they're going like they keep like forgetting like which ones they are. And he's just going like, "Come on, Stan," and he's just like, "I'm not Stan, I'm Kyle. You're Stan." And he's like, "Oh fuck," it's because they got all their hair cut off. But then Cartman goes, "Hey guys, guess which one I am?" There's another one where they kill Kenny, and then Stan can't find Kyle, and then he's trying to locate Kyle, and he goes, "Oh my god, they killed Kenny!" And they just say, "You bastards!" And he's like, "Oh," and then he goes like, "You killed Kenny." He's like, "You bastards!" And he's like locating him through that. Sorry, I really know my South Park. That is my favorite episode of the whole show. But it's a really good episode. I'll stop talking about South Park now. We need to get back on the producers.
well, I feel because we go on tangents about it, I guess, should we switch to like, is there any other scenes that you guys want to talk about, or should we go to like
Let's
favorite
do
scenes?
favorite scenes because I feel like
Yeah.
my one is the same as Rob's one.
The fountain, right?
Yeah.
So magical.
I just feel I'm sorry, Ben. I really Leo Bloom kind of reminds me of you, and like just seeing him walk around that fountain and going like, "I feel so fucking alive," and I'm like, "Oh, I really want that for Ben." Like I just really feel it, and I'm like, "Yes." So that's my favorite scene.
Yeah, when he goes, "I'm shocked and I'm wet. I'm wet."
I'm hysterical.
I'm hysterical.
I hated that scene.
Oh,
Oh,
Pat.
I meant when he was
Oh.
walking around the fountain.
Oh.
That's okay.
Oh, Pat.
That hates me.
I absolutely hated that scene, man.
I can kind of see why it does go on. For
If
a bit.
this wasn't a film club pick and I just watched it off my own back, I probably would have turned it off from that scene.
Oh,
You, Pat.
so that is Pat's favourite scene then?
I don't really have a favourite scene.
I was gonna say this before I said that one. I was going through the scenes and going, I don't actually know what is my favorite scene. Like there is, everyone I can think of has something that makes me go, I don't know if that's the same for you, Pep.
I'm sorry.
That was
Um,
sincere. I was trying to connect to you.
if I was to have a favourite scene, one that didn't
Mhm.
annoy me so much, it'd probably be like right at the end where the German guy was trying to shoot Bialystok and Bloom,
Oh,
and it
was
was
it?
it felt like an episode of Tom and Jerry.
it was a bit Tom and Jerry, actually.
It was fate of cartoonish. Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
I was actually
That was
thinking
probably
of-
the least annoying episode.
Episode.
Scene. I didn't mind that so much. That probably did get a chuckle out of me, but like by that point, like my overall feelings about the film had already been set. Yeah, I'll go with that scene.
I was thinking of Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes when when it was happening, because like even the bit when he goes like when he's like trying to motivate him to help him and he just ends up just going like "Ah!" And I was like, that's from a fucking Looney Tunes thing. Like,
Do you want to know something funny about that as well, in comparison to the remake? That German guy in the remake is played by Will Ferrell.
mm,
Oh, I can see why that doesn't work.
Yeah. I think one of my favourite scenes is the introduction of the writer, Kenneth Mars, because you can never predict what this writer guy looks like and what he is in real life, and he's just even more weirder and stranger and more of an insane nutcase than he even can comprehend, because he's just in his own world basically. And Kenneth Mars' performance is just so good.
I love him. He is so fucking good. I wish he was in more things.
Yeah, I really do too. He hasn't done
Because
much at all.
he's in Young Frankenstein.
Yeah,
He's the guy with the fake arm. But he's so fucking good. I hope he's still alive.
I think he is. He just hasn't worked much. Take it easy.
I was about to make a joke about John, but I didn't. So
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm in the clear. I didn't make it.
So favorite scene. It's definitely like two. It's like.
Oh no, he died. Oh fuck
did he?
it.
When was that?
He died in fucking 2011. That's
Oh.
not cool.
That's
So he
fine.
saw the remake and then killed over.
Jesus.
It took him 6 years to keel over.
Well, yeah, it was a long death.
Was that
Oh.
bad? Oh, he voiced King Triton in The Little Mermaid.
What did he?
What the fuck?
Oh.
Oh, what a guy. He's in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Oh, you have to pick that soon. Right?
He voices Grandpa. He voices Grandpa Longneck in The Land Before Time 2.
Oh, he's
And
in our
3
childhood.
and 4 and
But
5
not,
and 6.
Every land, every time.
What a guy.
No, I had a bit of trivia that I don't know if you know or not, Ben. But this is your second film. Well, yeah, no. This is the second film that you've picked with a character inspired by Ed Wood.
Cool, that was unintentional, but that's awesome.
Yeah, apparently the director was directly based on him.
Oh, cool. Just because he's just eccentric and camp and he likes to wear women's clothing.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
it's some of those
said
things-
dyslexic.
It's one of those things where the more you say, the more you realise that it can't be a coincidence.
Yeah, it's like, I guess it was the right time period as well, wasn't it?
Oh, it's because he's eccentric and camp and wears women's clothing and is a bad director. Oh, yeah, it is.
The same
No.
person.
Nice.
Nice. All right. Okay, I'll go before I suddenly cut off again. Okay, so snippets like of favorite scenes. Like, there's no like complete whole scene that I like. It's always just like the smaller interactions between the characters. Like when Leo and Max like are first like, well when Leo tells him the idea about making the money, and he's like, and Max is like chasing him around the room, and it's like got the chair, and it's just like, okay, no, you're making me hysterical. I get nervous when I'm hysterical. Then he splashes the water on him. He's like, I'm wet and I'm hysterical. I don't know what. And he slaps him. And he goes, I'm in pain. I'm wet and I'm still hysterical. What are you doing this to me? And it's like, okay, yeah, like, it's all those smaller interactions and like the dialogues between the characters are always funny. It's like that particular scene. Then you have like them meeting with again the director of the film where the camp gay secretary with him, and it's like and how they interact with them. Then afterwards it's like the little ending scene at the end with the fuse. I guess it's always that's it. It's just funny. It's like, okay, he drags the bomb along, and he stops a bit. Everyone stops a bit. He goes, walks along, and he still hears the scraping noise on the floor. It's like, just run. And they run after. It's like, no, don't shoot it. You gotta blow up the make the dynamite angry, and then it will blow up and kill us all. Oh, okay. Then he has to do the. I don't know if I used the right type of fuse. I know. Yes, I did use the right type of fuse. Yes, I'm smart about this. oh no, boom. I mean, it's all this. It's not like there. Those scenes aren't like complete scenes, but all the snippets of those scenes, I feel like, are what kind of like build the movie together. It's like all snippets that make it kind of funny, and because they can build up upon each other, it can still like really build up as the whole movie. I can't say like it's a particular favorite scene because I can't really choose one. It's not really like a big scene that I could like choose like the whole situation.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think, but the whole film sort of just riffs on the two central characters, really, doesn't it? Like it wouldn't be anything without them, because if you didn't have that kind of dynamic of basically just two idiots egging each other on, then I mean, I don't know. I suppose you'd still get a bit of a laugh out of the idea of them making a play about Hitler and stuff. But yeah, you need those two idiots at the center of it so you can kind of hook onto it. But I think they're such good characters, man. Like they're so, it's just a perfect dynamic. And I think, I don't know, you get away with it to a certain extent because you're kind of forgiving them for being idiots, even though they're doing something really bad.
Well, I mean, I feel like two idiots halves makes one whole idiot is actually a very thing that's used in a lot of like modern day things. Like one of the ones that I know precisely about is the animation Road to El Dorado, where you both have two main characters who are like who think they're the main character, right? But they're both fucking idiots. But because they're two halves of an idiot to make a whole idiot, it kind of works. But that's how it works. That's how it is.
Yeah.
There's a great dynamic between them. Yeah. Okay. Wait, Alec, are you muted? Can't hear what you're saying.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I am so happy with you. I really like The Road to El Dorado. That's a cool little movie. I'm gonna pick it. Don't pick it because mine.
Which one's that?
You don't need to mind that. If you don't know about it, you can't steal it from me.
So, who else hasn't gone, or are we all done?
I did just want to say about you don't necessarily think of characters like Leo Bloom as being necessarily like entirely culpable with things like this, because like Bialystok is very he's very adept at like I don't know, just tricking people into like believing what they want to believe. And I think with Leo, he gives him this kind of level of respect that he doesn't get anywhere else. And like it's because Bialystok needs him to feel respected, because otherwise he won't cook his books. But like he is still, giving him respect he doesn't get anywhere else, and like Leo doesn't know the difference. And so yeah, I think he gets intoxicated on that, and yeah, I guess that's what makes him. I guess that's what makes him the more likable of the two. Like, and I think you get that in at the ending, and everyone I think everyone criticizes Mel Brooks's endings because it's like, hey, this isn't funny, and I'm like, well, they're not necessarily like the funny bits, but like the things that Bloom comes out with in the jury scene, like, yeah, like at the end of the day, Bialystok did make him feel like a person, and he did address him by his first name, and that's something that had been denied to him since like kindergarten. So like, yeah, I think that does a lot for both their characters. And it's like whether he meant it or not, like he did still fulfill something to him, and he did value that. So it's like, sorry.
That dialogue was written by Gene Wilder.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay. I did think that when he said the bit where he goes like, I know it's not a big legal point, but like I was like, that seemed like a very Gene Wilder little line.
What's say like the ending actually makes sense because, like you said, that the Mel Brooks ending wasn't great. No, but they end with them making a play in prison.
Oh
I-
no, I think the ending in this is particularly good.
Oh,
It's
right.
just when like my dad goes to show me like a Mel Brooks or a John Hughes or something, he'll generally go like, "Oh, the ending isn't that funny," and it's like, nah, I don't know if it's meant to be. Like, I don't know if that's like the comedy bit, but like I think that is meant to kind of tie everything together, and like just because it's not funny doesn't mean it doesn't have like a emotional value to it or like a sensical value to it. Like, I think it's still a really good scene, even if I'm not laughing at it. Like, and yeah, I think on the second watch, I definitely kind of enjoyed this less, but like, I think the characters are pretty strong, and like, yeah, I think the mark of a comedy or a horror or something like is you're engaged with the characters regardless of if you're laughing or if you're scared or like whatever. And yeah, I was engaged with the characters, so yeah, I think this is a good one.
Mm.
Wasn't laughing the whole way through, but those characters are good. So
That's it.
Right, I'm gonna have to piss off.
Okay.
But
You've lasted longer than I thought you was going to.
I said I'd stay till 12 if I can.
Oh my god,
hang.
you don't even know, well, you don't even want to know my favourite scene.
I'd love to, but we spent too much time talking about other shit, and I've got work again in the morning, so I can't really say.
can you summarize it in 5 words or less?
Me?
Yeah, good point. Don't worry about it.
Right, that's 4 words left.
Yeah. It's probably either the secretary or the
Yeah, I
when
bet
they
it was.
when they first watch the play. It's because they're both really absurd, like the fact that she just dances when he says, "Oh,
Go to
go to
work."
work."
Yeah, it's amazing.
Work.
And then so when they first see the like when the dance routine and you see the swastika and you're like, what the fuck? And everyone else has got the same face. You're like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, I think that's my favorite scene. Just because it's just so fucking.
You mean
Yeah,
the actual
fucking
springtime
blue.
of Hitler?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
See you in a bit, man.
Right.
Take care.
See ya.
Oh, we took a pat.
I read a quote from Mel Brooks that really reminded me of you, Ben. So it was in an interview, and he said it was basically like the interview was about him sort of directing his first film, which is obviously this. And he said, "I did dumb things. First day on the set, first scene, sound men are ready, cameras are rolling, the director's supposed to say action. Being a little nervous, I yelled cut."
That's a definite Ben move.
I think Pat's stuck on cut right now.
Just looks really disapproving of everything.
He's in the space between action and cut. Oh god.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ending statements, I guess. Oh, Pat just gone now. Okay.
Fuck this film is. No. I think I gave mine, so I'll be quiet, and that's how I'm going to introduce my being quiet.
So, I would say it's mostly it's a good film, right? But as long as you can see the funny side, can't see the funny side, it's there's no point.
No, I'd say I think it was a great pick. I enjoyed like a good 80% of it. Like there's a few. Like, I don't. I didn't really get on with a lot of the Springtime for Hitler stuff, but the stuff around it I thought was brilliant, and I thought the characters were brilliant. And it's nice to finally have Gene Wilder in film club as well.
He is a great man.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, sorry, Wikipedia editor.
He was.
So,
Yeah, I wish it didn't. Wish it didn't crescendo on this very time-sensitive bit of humor. Like, but yeah, I appreciated everything leading up to that bit. Yes,
Yeah.
do that bit.
Okay.
So, is everyone done with ending statements?
Do you have an ending statement?
As I said, it was good as long as you can find the funny side of it. If you can't find the funny side, there's no point.
Well,
Yeah,
fine.
that's fair.
With your
yeah, I guess-
wishy-washy fucking subjective crap. Yeah, no, it's yeah.
yeah, it's a film of its time, but it stands the test of time. That's what I'd say.
Boosh. I don't know about that, but
Mostly.
yeah, mostly. I will agree with mostly.
Yeah.
The theme-
Anyway, oh, sorry.
oh, I was going to say the themes are still quite relevant.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen a
60.
Taika Waititi film, that you will find relevance in The Producers, a film about two cynical producers who try and make money out of a piece of shit.
I wonder
Yeah.
who that could be.
It's Taika Waititi. That's who I'm aiming at. Anyway, Rob, what's your film?
So, I was originally going to say this is our first film by Denis Villeneuve, which makes it our first Denis Villeneuve. But then I realised that his name's pronounced Villeneuve, so I had to tell that
Villeneuve.
little anecdote in order to say it. Yeah, my film's Arrival.
Oh,
Oh,
you actually committed to one for more than a week.
I did.
I'm very proud of you.
Thanks, man.
I was afraid you were going to go Blade Runner 2049, and I'd have to go, oh, I like that one. I can't be seen to like
Do
anything.
you actually
Blade
like that
Runner.
one?
Yeah, I really like Blade Runner 2049. I think it's a much better film than Blade Runner, whatever the fuck year that was. Because
in any case, I have to
29.
leave now because I actually need to do. I think I need to do some extra. I need to do a bit more.
he's being
paperwork.
arrested.
Well, not yet, at least. Hopefully, not at least. All right, I'll see you guys later.
So